been
the
like that a lot
cutest.
lately too.
He's just the cutest ever.
Oh, he is.
Oh, look at those. Those are cool.
Hmm?
Those are cool mounts.
Oh yeah, you saw him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and the skyboxes in and the scenery in Battle for Azeroth are just gorgeous.
Really?
Yeah, I got in Storm Song Valley. They've got this just like in some of the area. It looks like it's raining really good, and it's just really big rolling storm clouds.
That's
And I
awesome.
took a picture of it yesterday. It's just gorgeous. Ah,
All right. We are not love. We are live.
we are love. Triple T is love. Trying to look through my screenshots that I've taken so far. I've taken a lot more than I put on Twitter, though.
You've been
My
like, you just
goodness.
been saving them up.
Yeah.
uh, there we go. The tweeted is the tweeted.
The deeds have been tweeted.
The tweeted has been tweeted. Oh,
The
I didn't get the audio stuff fixed for you, so you won't hear the sounders again. But
that's all right.
but it'll be fine. We'll survive.
Yeah, I'll keep dancing to nothing.
No, I mean it looks like you're just boogieing along. So boogie boogie boogie.
Boogie Wonderland.
I have to make sure I log my my walk I took earlier before I forget to do it. Because otherwise I will forget. Track. Yes. I caught 2 new Pokemon today.
Ooh, what'd you get?
What did I get? I got one of them. I've never seen that. Actually, I never saw either of these before. So let's see what I got. Where's my journal? I'll load it up. Let's find out what I caught. Okay, yeah, I know I'm not supposed to trespass. Journal. I caught a Nuzleaf
Oh yeah,
and a Beldum.
Beldum. What is the?
It looks like a
Beldum?
little cylinder thing. And then Nuzleaf looks like a little like yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Beldum turns into eventually gets to Metagross. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have no
I
idea.
see which one you're talking about.
I've never
I
seen it
forgot.
before. Yeah, I never saw that before. I was like, "What is that?" That's cool. So
Regirock started as the legendary, so if you get a chance to join in legendary raid, you can possibly catch the Regirock.
yeah, there's 2 gyms that are relatively close to my house, and nobody goes there for like raids.
Oh yeah.
So I was like on Sunday, during community day, I was going around to the different ones and so there was a raid starting right when I pulled up to one. And so I jumped into the raid and got credit for the raid, but I didn't actually get to battle him because I was the only one. So
Okay.
I was bummed out. So yeah, I need to go. So on Saturday, I'm going to meet Navarre and Steph over at Mall of America, and we're gonna do a Pokemon day. So
hey, nice.
yeah, so we're gonna do. We're doing a Pokemon date. So we're gonna and because Mall of America is insane for Pokemon.
Yeah.
So hopefully by then I'll have finally battled in a raid because I've never actually done that. But
I'm sure there'll be a lot of people there to do raids.
yeah,
I'd try to get there right when it hatches, or just kind of stand around and occasionally check in the lobby to see how many people are in the lobby.
mm-hmm.
If you've got 3 people, you could probably take down at least a 2-star or a 2 skull, whatever it is, or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get up to the 4, you'll need like 5 or 6 people sometimes. But when you get to the legendaries, you should be safe with 7 or 8 people minimum.
Okay.
That'd be pretty safe.
Yeah, I don't expect that it should be a lack of people, like especially at Mall of America on a Saturday. So, yeah,
no joke.
So
tons of people.
So yeah, it'd be exciting. Draven's distracted in BFA.
That's okay, Draven. I haven't slept since Monday. which is a lie, but I
He's
will still say that
lying.
during the show because it's funny.
He's lying. He's a lying liar who lies.
I did sleep. I'm sorry. I had to work today.
Yeah, you had to go back to work and actually, join the real
Yeah.
world again for a little bit before you go back to Azeroth after the show's over.
A little bit, but I was getting a little bit of cabin fever, even though I left for a little bit each day. Tuesday, I left to go get my collector's edition and came back. So I was out for about an hour and a half or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wednesday, I went to Walmart to get some stuff and to go get lunch. And then I came back. And that was it.
That's
the rest
basically.
Of the time, rest of the time was here in front of the computer, just going through, just neck deep in Battle for Azeroth. It's so good. But,
well, see, I mean, I can't rag on you because, like, from Friday all day until Sunday evening, I was watching the Western Clash. And, but since it was Pokemon Go Community Day and I didn't go out on Saturday, on Sunday, I went out with my iPad and so I tethered my iPad to my phone so that I could listen to the stream as I'm walking around. So I had the iPad in one arm, the phone in the other, listening to the stream.
Oh, that's so good. Did you catch any shiny Eevees?
Yes, I got 2 shinies.
Nice.
I evolved one to a Jolteon and one to the purple one and one to the green one.
Okay, this purple one's probably Vaporeon because I think the shiny version of Vaporeon's purple.
Yeah,
blue.
so I caught 2 shinies and I caught like a bazillion normals because they were just everywhere. So yeah, but it was my first community day, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So what I did is, so there's a Starbucks that's right down the road from me and it's walking distance. And since Starbucks had the Wi-Fi, I figured I'll go over there and I'll watch the Western Clash and I'll just sit there with it because it has a Pokestop and it was
spin and spin.
It just spin and wait for stuff to pop. And I found out later that I should have been rotating around to different ones. I should have been moving around more. So I spent about 2 hours there, and then I was like, I'll go and just check. So there's another gym down the road, blah, blah, blah. So then I was driving between them and I was like listening to the Western Clash as I'm going through. Oh, such a nerd. So.
And nothing wrong with that. I didn't get a chance to do it on Saturday because I was working, but I went. I love that they did 2 days worth of it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they continue to do that because it's fantastic. Because then I can go on Sunday, and I went on Sunday and it poured down rain right at the beginning, and so I had to take cover because I was down at the River Market in Little Rock, and it's just nuts. It's one of the best places in the city to play.
Yeah.
And I ran into an old DDR friend that I hadn't seen in years, and then I ran into my high school sweetheart that I had not seen. I haven't seen her in like 9 years, even though she lives here in the area. Just like I saw her and I kind of walked up and waved. She was like, "Oh, well, are you surprised to see me at a thing like this?" Because she's the one who introduced me to Pokemon back in high school. So
yeah.
I was like, "Nope, not a bit."
That's awesome.
Of all the places, if you were to put a gun to my head and say, "Hey, where would she be?" I'd say Pokemon Day. That's the easiest target. Like I can just throw it blindly and I'll hit it.
That's too funny. I love it.
But it was cool. I hadn't caught up to her in years, so it was really neat.
Awesome. So how many shinies did you catch?
I caught 4.
4.
The guy, my DDR friend that I saw, he caught 33 over the course of the weekend.
Damn, he got
lucky. So I picked the 2 with the best stats, and I'm gonna walk them. If you walk them 10 kilometers and then evolve them at either day or night, you get Espeon and Umbreon.
Ooh.
So I'm going to do that because Espeon is a really strong psychic type.
Yeah.
And the other one's going to be Umbreon, the night side one. So
cool.
It'll be kind of neat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the Vaporeon that I wound up getting was my highest combat power one to date so far.
Nice. Well, Vaporeon's the strongest out of the original 3 Eevee evolutions. So.
Okay. So there's a gym that's in a park near my house, and usually what I'll do is I'll walk over there, defeat everything that's in the gym, and then leave something there. And so Vaporeon got left there for a couple days, and he lived there for a while until somebody beat him out. So yeah, it was pretty cool to to do that. I'm like, I'm excited. This is kind of fun. I've been catching new things. The gifting makes me happy because everybody sends me stuff and I send them stuff, and you just watch your friend level go up, and it's just like, this is cool. I like this. So.
Yeah, I need to start. I haven't played a whole lot the last few days except for Community Day, but I need to get in there now that Reggie Rock is around so that I can spin more stops and send more gifts.
Yes. So, you will not hear this, but chat room, I'm gonna ready check you.
I'm sleepy. I've had to be at work at 5:30.
Ew.
Yeah. Had to inventory my work truck, and the system was down, so I had to do it by hand. Yeah.
5:30 in the morning. That's awful.
Yeah. I made the mistake of wearing 2 different shoes to work again today.
Got dressed in the dark, did you?
I did. I did get dressed in the dark, and but luckily my first job was close to my house, so I just ran by and put on the correct shoe.
It would be actually interesting to see if a customer noticed it. Like, you wound up walking in with 2 different shoes, and they'd be like, I don't know.
Well, no one noticed it when I was at work until right at the very end when I was about to roll out to the first job, and one of my coworkers was like, "You were 2 different color shoes." Oh, crap! I didn't even look down at my feet. You don't look down at your feet during the day. You just, I'm in shoes. Let's go.
Your coworker just ratted you out.
Yeah. Well, she was up higher on the dock, and she was looking down anyway before she jumped down. She's like, oh, different shoes. Didn't tell me it was different shoe day. Like, nope, just sleepy getting dressed.
Yeah, I totally understand that one. All right, looks like chat room's ready. Marconin, are you ready?
I am ready. Phone is on silent and fan is off.
Fan is off.
Let the heating begin.
Let the sweating begin. So we've got 1 hour to bake.
Yep.
1 hour and you stop baking. So that's
the instructions on the back of the show: is bake for 1 hour.
Bake for 1 hour. Turn over when ready.
Yeah.
All right. Tauren Think Tank episode 281 records in 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to Tauren Think Tank, the podcast about the Blizzard gamer behind the keyboard.
It's episode 281 of Tauren Think Tank. Today is Thursday, August 16th, 2018. My name is Jules. It is 8:11 p.m. in the Central Time Zone. The sun is going down, and my blinding has finally stopped because, man, that sun was bright this afternoon. Goodness gracious. But the man on the other side of the camera, for me, is blinding me with his orange goodness. It's Marconin.
Hi, Jules. I haven't slept since Monday. How are you? Thanks for noticing the shirt. It was the first one I saw because it was so bright. My eyes are glazed over. I'm tired.
Okay, wait. You haven't slept since Monday?
Well, I have taken breaks in between Battle for Azeroth sessions where I would do like a really, really long, slow blink for like a couple hours, and then I would go right back into Azeroth, right back to Kultiras, and do some more stuff. So if you want to call that sleep, I would tomato, whatever. But yeah, it's been a cool couple days. Haven't done much but play Battle for Azeroth. So yeah, I actually did have to get a drink of energy drink before the show again today because I went back to work this morning, and I went back to Earth. Went back to work. Back to Earth.
Back to Earth.
Yeah, finally left Azeroth after a couple days. Came back to Earth and went to work. But I had to go really early to do paperwork and inventory, and so it's been a long old day, and I'm beat. But I do have some energy to spare for at least an hour, so I figured, it's Thursday, we should do a show, and you were like, yeah, we should do a show because it's Thursday. Get on
Yeah.
your computer.
Yeah,
Well,
no kidding.
I'm already on my computer. Just get out of WoW, and then we'll do the game, do the
I
show,
mean,
and then I'll get back to the game.
I wouldn't be
Man,
surprised if WoW is not running in the background right now while you're
no, it is not. You can check the little notification on Discord. I am not
Oh,
playing
okay.
WoW at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, Discord will tell you the truth.
Discord
I
feels
I can take a break for an hour, Jules. I don't have a problem. I just need to do some world quests. That reputation's not going to earn itself. I mean, I need 100 reputations for the next mount, and I don't have that one yet, so I need to do that. So, but I can take a break. I really don't have a problem. I promise I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem at all. No.
Good. Well, intervention starts in an hour, so.
I hear a knock on the door, and people just walk behind, put their hand on my shoulders, like, we need to talk. No, don't take me away. No.
So how long did it take for you to hit max level?
It was sometime yesterday afternoon. I kind of took it slow. I didn't really want to. I mean, I played for long stretches. Because I had off work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'm already off on Mondays, but I took those 2 days off to play. So I just kind of took it at a nice kind of casual pace, just keeping it up, keeping it going. The first night I got to 114.5. So 45% of the way there on the first night, first 6 hours, which was, man, I was going. Because everybody was hyped. Everybody's talking and guild chatting. Everybody's having fun. I've seen tons of people. It's great. And then everybody starts diverging into their own zones, and it starts to slow down because there's not other people helping you kill the things.
Yeah.
And so the next night, the whole day, I got to like 118.5. So I got 4 levels in a day. Okay. I had to run some errands that day. I went and picked up a couple things across town and stuff. But then about like 1 or 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I finished the last couple of levels and hit 120. So finished that, decided to find some gear, do a couple dungeons. Started the troll horde side stuff on my troll mage, and it's pretty cool too. So I'll be getting him up next, I think. Awesome. So I'll have a mage on each side. But yeah,
awesome.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
There's a lot of happy people on Twitter, I have to say. I mean, from what I've seen and what people are saying, it sounds like the expansion is great. People are enjoying the story. It kind of blew me away at some folks who were literally just like 120 by the end of the first, 7 o'clock the next morning after the release. They were already 120. And I'm like, damn, that's hardcore. Like,
yeah. Well, that's like the people
gunning.
They like go to sleep and they wake up right before the servers go, and then they just spend an entire day's worth of time doing it.
Yeah.
But those are the people that have like studied where to like mass farm things in groups. Like the first guy got it between 4 and 5 hours.
Yeah. Well,
but he had a group of people helping him tag, and he was tagging mobs and killing, I think, just the way to optimize your route and just go fast. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to enjoy the couple days and enjoy the journey, and I didn't read every quest. If it's like kill 6 boars, I'm like, I've done this before. Boop. But like I'll kind of skim the quest text. Like, okay, killing 6 of these things. Oh, a poop quest? Great. Now it's a WoW expansion. I'll do the poop quest. There's always a poop quest.
Yeah, Draven said world first in 5 hours. And the days, like the people who, the days are gone now where you could actually get the achievement for world first, right? Like you can't, there's no actual like achievement. It's just like it was reported that this is the first person that actually hit that at the top level. But I mean, I remember the days when we had those achievements and how people would be pushing for that, and how, and our dear friend Kalani was he hit a server first. In my, he was the server first druid on and watched him get it. And it was like, that's so awesome. I don't want to do that. Cool. Yeah. But it's been good to see that there's a lot of positivity and people are happy. Yeah, there's been some server problems, but other than that, and I think there's been some DDoS attacks as well, which has been making things interesting. But yeah, it sounds like people are just happy, which is good.
Yeah, it really is. And there's just a ton of stuff to do in the game. There's just, I mean, it's very rich, and you can, I finished 2 zones, 2 out of the 3 alliance zones. It got to 120, so I have an entire zone's worth of content to chew through, just at max level, just to go do it and get the rep, get the gold.
Yeah.
Get a couple of items filled into the slots that I need to get into dungeons. Dungeons are fun, there's tons of stuff to do in the expansion, and I want to do all things, but I just gotta sit here and enjoy it, because I'm gonna be in Cool Tears for the next 2 years. So
exactly.
next 2-ish years,
Yeah.
So, taking my time, got there, and I'm gonna finish the story and then do the Horde side, because Horde and Alliance are totally different leveling experiences now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you gotta get the other side if you want all the story, which I think is a really good motivator to have people try the other faction that they're used to.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
you really see the war from both fronts, and that's something that I'm down with. I want to know all the lore. I want to see it and experience it. So it's a really good motivator.
Awesome.
So I like it.
Awesome. Well, what else is going on?
Goodness, let's see. Well, we were talking about it before the show. I did the Pokemon Go Community Day over the weekend. They had 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. So had to work on Saturday, so I didn't get a chance to do it until Sunday. I got rained on a little bit at the beginning, but saw a couple of old friends, including one from I hadn't seen since shortly after high school.
Wow.
Saw her and her family, most of her family. They were like, "Yeah, this is the new baby that her, my friend's little brother. It's his kid." I was like, "The one who I met in diapers?" She's like, "Yeah, he's 19 now." I was like, "Oh, wow, time has flown."
Yes.
That is nuts. But yeah, I did that. Had a lot of fun on Community Day, as I usually do if I get a chance to go out there. There were a couple hundred people there down at the River Market, so it was a lot of fun. What else? Goodness, I just Battle for Azeroth is like clouding my head, so I just don't know what else to report. I don't think I did much of anything else the last week. It's just prep for it and expansion.
Yeah, it was the big excitement for the last few days.
Yeah, just dove in head first and didn't come up for air for a while. So that's pretty much all it. Taking tons of screenshots. This game is gorgeous. Finding all the little funny quotes and references and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good time. That's about all I've got to report. At least right now, it's just that.
Okay.
So yeah, what I know you got lots of stuff going on.
It's been a busy.
What do you have to report?
Yeah, it's been a busy 7 days. So this past weekend was a big Heroes of the Storm tournament, the Western Clash, and so I spent most of my time this weekend watching that and studying that and getting all my notes together for what turned out to be 3 podcast appearances for that.
Wow.
I know. So I did my own show, second episode of Heroes News with Jules Scott, and that went up today. And then I also did like a 30-minute segment on Nerf This about HGC, which they never talk about HGC, but they're like, "Yeah, you want to come in and do a thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "We need you because we don't know anything about HGC." So we talk about everything else, just not that. So I did that, and then I did another, 10-minute segment on Convert to Raid BattleNet News. And so in the span of like 2 days, I was doing the same content through like. It's nice that I had it all written out, and it was like you write it once and then it's all just there. So that part was nice. It was good. I'm super, super excited with everything that happened with the Western Clash. I had a great time watching it this weekend. I also participated in my first Pokemon Go Community Day, which really, really wasn't like a community day necessarily, because I didn't like see a whole bunch of other people doing it. I just went out and caught all the shiny stuff, like I just went out there and just, there's stuff to catch that's more often available than other stuff. Okay, cool. And I'll have to look around and figure out when people like where they get together, because it's
I would just probably search Minneapolis St. Paul Pokemon Go and just see if. Usually, like there's a big Facebook group for Little Rock, and that's where I meet up with everybody. So there's probably something in there. You'll see tons of people, all shapes, sizes, colors, creeds. Everybody looks Pikachu. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
it's a really cool thing.
I've been having a lot of fun with Pokemon Go, and mainly it's because the weather's been warm, and so I can go out and I can get a daily walk in outside, and I can hit a couple of Pokestops along the way. So that's nice. It's a good incentive to go do that. And it also allows me to, like, you know, hopefully gather a couple of gifts every day to send to friends, because I have way too many friends and not enough gifts. And so it's just like, oh man, I'm not enough to send to you people. I'm sorry. So yeah, it's been fun. I've been playing for the last probably month or so, and enjoying that.
Nice.
And yeah, so the big news for me was the getting the second episode for Heroes News done. And it's like I learn so much about audio editing as I do more of it. I've been audio editing like basic stuff for 6 years. I mean, I know how to cut stuff. I know how to do this. And I've been learning new things about how to actually produce, you know, more like good sounding content, things that like, so for instance, like every episode I do an interview with somebody from the community. This week it was Crowan from Heroes Hearth Esports. And Crowan, he's awesome, but he has a lot of pauses in his, because he thinks a lot before he says something. So I asked him a question, and there'd be this and then there was like this long pause, and then he'd answer, and it doesn't make the best podcast content. So I was doing a lot of cutting, a lot of like, you know, shortening those pauses so that it just sounded like it flowed right in there. And there's those moments when you do that and you're just like, I made that sound badass. I made that sound. That's magic I did right there. When you make a cut and you can't even tell it's a cut, like that is, that's freaking cool. I love that. That's fun.
Those are the magic moments of editing. I agree with you 110% there. You try to do the little bits of editing because you're like, man, how am I going to clean this up? And then you just like stitch it together, and you make sure the levels are right. You check your pacing, and it just flows. And it is magic. You know, you're taking something that didn't exist and putting pieces together to make it exist the way that you wanted to. You are harnessing that audio power.
It's really cool. Like I had taken a section from another part of the conversation, and I moved it to another one, and it literally sounds like I flowed from one sentence to the next, and you can't even tell that there's a cut. And I was just like, oh, that's so cool. So
that's awesome.
That was really neat. So, and just coming up with new ideas. So one of the things that, there's like 100 interviews that people have done out there every Western Clash with the players and the same people, and they're asking them the same questions over and over again. And so one of the things I've been trying to do with this show is to make the interview more personally focused, like to know more about the person. You know, it's like Tauren Think Tank style for interviewing, but, you know, not necessarily like, how did you feel about losing that match? It's more about, so I asked Crowan, like, what's something we don't know about you? And, you know, so it was a really cool way to get to know him as a player, as a person. And I feel like I'm adapting, and I'm kind of honing my interview skill, my technique in it. So
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. And so because I'm doing this as a short form podcast, I can't use everything that I do. So I have been I pitched this to the owner of Heroes Hearth and said, what if I give you the whole uncut thing that I do, and then you just put it up as a patron exclusive for patrons to hear the whole thing, like uncut, the things that I didn't use in the actual podcast. So we did that today. So
that's a great idea.
Yeah. So creating some little extra content in there. And I don't know, it's just, it's awesome. I sit right now in this position of like the dream of the full-time content creator is coming together, like super cool, but I have to wait for all of these other outside things to come together to have it happen. I'm waiting on all these other people things and stuff. So it's been cool. I just, you know, sometimes I get stressed out and go, the hell am I doing? What the hell am I doing? So it's never without complications, but yeah. So the complications right now is that I don't frickin' sleep, which sucks because I like sleep and I miss sleep, and when I don't get it, I'm really not a happy camper. So last night I think I got 4 hours of sleep, and I just, you know, just messes you up.
Yeah, it does. I think that's about what I got too. So I'm feeling you there on the dragon today.
Yeah,
Ugh.
you just drag your butt. So,
Mm-hmm.
but in any case, that's what's happening with us. If you do like the Heroes of the Storm stuff and you want to hear what I did for that show, it's called Heroes News with Jules Scott, and there's no space between Heroes and News. It's all one thing run together. It is it is now on iTunes and Spotify, Google Play, TuneIn, Pocket Casts, all that stuff. You can get it all there too. So we finally got it everywhere it needs to be. But I think the confusing thing for some, is that it doesn't have a space between the two words. So sometimes it's hard to find that way. So, but you can always look up Jules Scott and then you'll see it. So yeah, and Marconin just dragging your butt there. We just gave ourselves a show title, didn't we?
Yeah,
we totally did.
So.
You're dragging your butt. What do you say? Should we get into the actual show content? You want to do that?
Yeah, I think so. We'll leave these dragon butts alone, and we'll get into the letter.
All right. Here we go.
Tauren between options? Let Triple T help you sort it out.
It's Think Tank time with another listener letter. And we thank you guys so much for sending the letters. We could use some more, by the way.
Hint, hint.
Selfish plug. Questions at torrentthinktank.com. We can always use more letters. So this one is from an anonymous man. So we will not be sharing a name. But here we go. We're getting into it. Hello, Moo Crew. I just finished your latest episode, number 279, halfway to beef jerky. And it was sort of a trigger situation for me. I was once before married, and we had a child together. My ex-wife and our child moved back to the country where we came from. I stayed back in the U.S. since I had to finish my military duty in the U.S. for my country. It is my understanding at this time that we were still together, and she would wait for me back home. 2 weeks after she left, I received a letter. It was from her lawyer, telling me how terrible I was and she wanted a divorce. Even when I went back on vacation to our country, she managed somehow to not let me see our son, except for 2 court-ordered supervised visits for 30 minutes. She managed to do these games with me every time I visited to see him. I fought her for a considerable amount of time and spent thousands of dollars in lawyer costs to see him during these visits. She did not have to pay a lawyer since she lived back then on welfare, and people get their lawyers paid by the government in situations like this. She had the longer breath, and I gave up. It felt like I was Don Quixote fighting against the windmills. I made peace with myself. I'd rather hurt myself than my child, and gave up. After that, I went to a dark place, and my dog and cats saved me more than once to give in to these dark ideas. I went to counseling and got professional help and learned to live with this burden. Thanks to my current wife and stepchild, I never went back to the dark places. My ex excluded me from all decisions, never gave me any information about our child over the last 8 years. My mother managed to get close to her and is playing the school break and weekend nanny for her, which gives me some insight to his life, and in many cases how much she manipulates him and neglects him. It hurts me every time I hear another bad story. I casually heard that I lost custody without ever gotten officially notified. The only time she ever contacted me over all the time, it was when there was something wrong with my child support payments. She makes sure that in these emails that she includes some side mention of how terrible I am. Exactly that happened last Friday again, which I'm used to. It fuels my anger and hate towards her. Here I am bawling after your last show and writing this letter, and here comes my question. Writing a letter or leaving me a voice message helps for some time, but what if these wounds will be opened repeatedly because you're bound to that person? How can one archive a closure in a situation like this? Maybe you have another idea as people that look in from the outside.
This situation stinks.
It's terrible. Yeah,
And that was putting it mildly.
yeah, it's
My
terrible.
mother's listening, so I don't want to say how I really feel about it.
As you wave, hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi. Yeah, I mean, there's
Sorry, go ahead.
no. I mean, I'm actually trying to process this one myself because I don't really know. I don't know how you can always like for the sake of your son, for the sake of like having your son in your life, or at least being able to have that, somewhat of a, well, you don't even have a relationship, so there's not that.
Yeah.
So the very first thing that I thought of is that it might actually help, it might actually help you, anonymous writer, to write letters to your son.
That's a good idea.
That you don't send, but that you keep. Because, I don't know, I mean, I can't imagine a world where someday your son doesn't go looking for you.
Yeah, well, and especially with the writer's mother being involved in his life, he does have this access in a way to his son. He has an insight into his life. So there, it's not like, you put your child up for adoption and you never see them again or never have a possibility. He has this little line to his son. And I think that's a fantastic idea. Just writing the letters to your son about how you are not belittling his mother or anything like that, but talking to him as if you would your friend in a conversation, writing out how you're feeling about him. Like, hey, I know last week was your birthday. I remember that day. I remember where I was. This is how, if your mother's never told you, this is where we were that day and how I felt when I first held you in my arms. And I know that's tough to open those memories up again and to just cut those wounds open again. But one day, like you said, he might come looking for you, and you've got this vast array of knowledge to give him, these personal moments that you took time out to talk to him.
Yeah. Because you're in the position right now where there's never going to be a reprieve from this. There's always going to be an option for your ex-wife to send you a letter and try to purposefully hurt you. So instead of channeling the emotions back on yourself, and I mean, that's a wound, unfortunately. I mean, I'm going to be a realist here. Like, you can't just like shut that door, because until your son is no longer of age for you to provide child support, that will always be there. So I think that letter writing thing, when that happens and you have all of the emotions and the pain, is probably like the best thing. And it's not about telling him how terrible his mother is or anything like that. And if you need to do that as a separate function. Like, your feelings about her are very separate to the feelings about him. But channeling it and taking it out of you in a way of formulating a letter and then giving it to him maybe someday, if he ever comes to you, and to say, all these years I've been writing to you, and these are the things that I wanted to say to you if I ever got the opportunity. And then he chooses whether he reads them or not. It's hard though, man. It
is so hard. And anybody that uses children as ammunition or a shield or a weapon against somebody else, that's probably one of the worst things you can do to another human being, is throw their children in your face. Yeah. Because that's, they can, that's the perfect meat shield right there. You can hide behind their children, and you can't touch them. Yeah. Like, it's the perfect shielding, and it's heartbreaking, and it's awful. And I've seen that happen with friends of mine where, it's similar situations where one spouse will use their position over the child to direct anger and poison the child's mind with inaccuracies. And turn them against their own parent. And it's, makes me thankful that my parents never did that.
Yeah.
My parents are still friends,
Yeah.
even after all the years, the divorce and everything when I was younger. They never used me as a weapon against the other.
Yeah.
They both supported me, and I had that time. Granted, one parent was an ocean away or two oceans away or however far away they are, you know, however far away they are. I had my parents with me,
Yeah.
and they never used me as a weapon. And
Yeah.
that just runs all over me when people do that. And it's using innocence to do the most uninnocent things is
Yeah.
just awful.
Yeah. And you could clearly see that there's anger
Yeah,
and
and justifiably so.
and that whatever things are going on with her, she's taking that out on you and directing that at you. And it's hard to remember this, but you have to remember it, that it's not her problems are not your fault, but her
Yep.
problems are the consequence, have caused the consequence of you not being able to see your child. And there's just at some point I mean, there's not a whole lot. It doesn't sound like there's a whole lot you can do. You've lost custody of the child, and it wasn't something you could have fought for. That basically they took that option away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in karma. I believe that what you put out in the world will come back to you. And I believe that your ex-wife is probably going to get some things coming back to her for what she's done. I also believe that your son will likely come around to a point where he's saying, I want to know why. I want to know why my father wasn't there. I want to know why if it's being told he's abandoned you, or he never loved you, or he doesn't care about you, you can have the ability to show him, I did, and I do, and I wanted to have a relationship with you, but I wasn't allowed to. And that just was heartbreaking to me. Hopefully, as an adult, he might be able to assess the situation for what it is. But the closure has to come from your side to say, some things I cannot change. Some things I cannot control. This is a situation that I cannot control.
Yeah, and sometimes closure means just acceptance of what is. I mean, there's not a reconciliation, and there probably won't be between you and your ex-wife, but you can still accept that. There's things, man, I hate having people be mad at me and I not know it.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate not being able to reconcile and fix it. But sometimes you just have to accept that some things you can't fix and that some things have to stay broken. And that's okay. Not all things can be repaired. As much as I hate to say that. And especially with your situation, the only thing that you can do when you have to deal with your ex-wife is just be the better person and just accept her shortcomings and her problems as her problems. You have nothing to do with it. I mean, as long as the payments are okay, like, you don't have to deal with her. And that's a blessing right there, is not having to deal with someone who is manipulative and who is not a very nice person. And then you just have to hold out hope about your son. I mean, and if it's whenever you get to thinking about your son, take a moment, open up Google Docs and write down a letter, or write it by hand, or type it up, print it out, sign it and put it in an envelope and date it.
Yeah.
Just like this, letters to my son. Here's the date.
Yep.
Thought about you today. I saw, a bird outside, and it reminded me of the time that we were strolling in the park and there were birds.
Yep.
Any little thing like that, from little bitty memories that you remember now about when he was little and y'all were together.
Mm-hmm.
That's worth more than its weight in gold to someone who cares about it. If he's the type of person, or if he becomes the type of person that will want to know who you are, because that depends on the person. I have friends that grew up without a father, but the father didn't want to be in their life. He abandoned them completely, and he was fine not knowing his dad, but he didn't have he didn't have an abusive mother. He had a very supportive mother that was completely candid about everything and not lying. So
yeah, and your
I don't know.
friends saying that their father abandoned them, it could be a situation similar to this one where a mother was saying your father abandoned you and they don't know any different. And
True.
And I'm not saying that your friends aren't saying the truth to you. It's that they may not know the truth. They may never know the truth. And for our writer, you do have the opportunity someday. Your mom has a relationship with your son. And so there is a possibility that you could possibly communicate to him through her if that ever came down to it. It's hard to say if that would ever come, but he's going to become an adult someday, and he's going to be on his own and making his own decisions about his father. And if he is spending time with his grandmother, who is your mother, my guess is that she's probably been pretty kind about who you are as a person. That she's not bashing you and saying that you're a deadbeat, that you hate him, that you abandoned him. Like, I think that's your in, to hope that there's a feed of information coming to him that says your father does care and he does love you and he wishes he could have been a part of your life. So you're lucky, at least, that there's an opportunity there with your mother being there and his grandmother being a part of his world. So I'm not one to advocate for manipulation, but I do think that there could be some opportunity for you if your mom was willing. Maybe some of those letters that you write could get into his hands sometime.
Yeah. Or if she's come over to be the nanny or brings the kid over, you just happen to be visiting for the week. Like, oh, wow, what a coincidence. I am suddenly here in the same room with my son.
Yeah. I mean, if there's court orders and stuff around that, I don't want to advise you to not to. I mean, I'm not going to do anything like that.
Yeah. Don't break the law. Yeah,
no.
Don't break the law. That's we are not advocating for breaking the law on this podcast. No. I guarantee you there.
No, but there's an opportunity there for you to inspire some hope and possibly even to be able to have a bond or even just a line of communication that could be connected between the two of you someday. So there's that. I know you mentioned in your letter that you went to therapy about this. It's not something that has gone away though. And so there's definitely my recommendation for therapy on pretty much every show is going to stand again to say you might want to consider continuing that conversation, because those feelings are still like, what they are, but you don't understand like how to process them still, and now like how to move forward and that kind of thing. And maybe it is working on the acceptance part, like Marconin talked about earlier, which is literally just, how do I come to terms with the things that I cannot change? That's something that I struggle with. Sometimes, you said this earlier, like a friendship that goes south and you don't have the ability to fix it. I went through that relatively recently, where all I wanted to do was fix the issue. I wanted it to just be fixed. And I had to accept that the issue wasn't mine. It was the other person's, and that they weren't willing to fix what was wrong, even though they were telling me it wasn't my fault. And it was just like, that's an unwinnable situation. Like, it's not your fault, but we're not friends anymore because of my stuff. And I just sit there and want to pull my hair out because I'm like, I want to fix this. I am the person who fixes things. Why can't I fix it? I can't fix somebody else.
Yeah, you can't. And I mean, when it comes to the ex-wife, man, you just got to be the better person. You got to remind yourself that, hey, you're not the aggressor here.
Yeah.
You are not the villain. I mean, it is not your fault. And sometimes the villains get a leg up. She's got the kid, she's got custody, she's got you paying monthly payment, she's got you around her finger in that way. Yeah. She does not have any extra power over you unless you let her have it.
That's true.
You just remind yourself that when she makes these snide comments, she's trying to put power over you. She's trying to control more of you. She is not bound to you in any way other than through your son and through those payments. That's it. It is a financial transaction, nothing more. It's the same as me going, every month I pay my college loans. That's it. I don't have to call them. I don't have to take them out to dinner. I don't have to converse over anything. I give them money a month, and that's it. If I don't give them money, they will start to talk to me and say, hey, remember you're owing me money.
Yeah, they might not call you like a worthless bastard or something, but
not yet. I mean, I don't know how many months I have to, miss for that, but eventually someone's going to come knocking if I don't pay it. So, I mean, keep up on your payments. It's a financial transaction completely and totally. So just treat her like that. Treat her like any other bill you have to pay. Mm-hmm. Don't think of it as supporting your son, because that's what it is or what it's supposed to be. But as far as she's concerned, it's a financial transaction. It's as if you are giving it to a cashier saying, take care of my son for a month. That's all she is to you.
Yeah.
Remember that when she tries to exude this power over you, that you do not owe her any emotional response. You don't need to let her drag down your day. She is a financial transaction, nothing more.
Yeah, that's a good point. And there's there's strength in not allowing someone's words to harm you by taking back the power from them. Mm-hmm. Because people who are hurting will try to hurt other people. That's how they work through their pain. Some people do that. I mean, that's a very broken way to handle your pain, and it's not healthy and it needs to be fixed. But there's when you can rationalize it, and what you were saying is something that I have done a lot too, is that when somebody comes at me with something and they're coming at me in a negative emotional way, if I can control my emotions around the reaction to it, like, that immediate like fight or flight feeling, that drop in the stomach feeling, like you're going down the big roller coaster of like feeling. Mm-hmm. If you can distance yourself from that and logically step backwards and saying, they are doing this to get a reaction out of me. They are doing this to try to get to me. And if I allow them to get to me, then they've gotten what they want. But if I don't, then they won't. But it's so hard when you've been emotionally involved with someone, like an ex, I know this very, very well, how easy, because those are the people that know how to push your buttons. Mm-hmm. They know exactly what to say to set you off or to hurt you or to just dig in the knife a little bit further, because they know what your weaknesses are because you've been vulnerable with them before. Mm-hmm. That sucks. That is probably the crux of most trust issues, is like you open yourself up to someone and you show them your vulnerable side, and you show them what your weaknesses are, I guess, or what your vulnerabilities are, and they exploit them to get what they want from you. That is probably like that's probably the worst thing for somebody who has trust issues to get past. Might be speaking from experience here. Maybe. But it's to be expected. You in a relationship, you allow someone to see you, and you trust them with that information. You give it to them and give them the opportunity to be let into your world. And if they use that against you, I call that the worst form of human, because it's just like, you didn't deserve that trust. You just didn't deserve it. So she didn't deserve your trust. You didn't know that at the time. I'm sure you cared for her very much, and she blindsided you. Can't control any of that. Can't control any of that. That's all her. It's not you. Mm-hmm. There's always two sides to every story, and her perception of the way that your relationship ended is probably very different than yours. So it's hard, like we can't say who's right and who's wrong. It's just the actions that are taken now. So that's our outsider opinion on this. I feel like there's things that you can do to try to control that emotion and redirect it. But
yeah,
like there's literally nothing I can tell you to say just don't feel anything when she sends you that awful stuff in the mail. Like when you open an email from her and dread when you see her name because you know what's coming.
Yeah. One thing you could do is just remember the snide comments are from a little person trying to she's being very small and petty when she's trying to dig at you. And just remember that she's just trying to put power over you, and you have the power. You need to keep the power with you because she is not deserving of it.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard to hold it back and to not let it affect you. And it takes practice, and it takes constant reminders when these things happen that you are not the villain here.
Yeah.
Just remember that she is just a financial transaction to you until such time as your son is old enough to be on his own and you are not legally required to send her money. At that point, you can send him money. I've had some friends that have done that. Whenever the kid turns 18, they send the same amount of money, but they point it and they write it straight to the kid. They send it to their address. They hand it to them. They're like, this is yours. I've been giving your mother or your father this for however many years, but now it's now you get to decide what to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's something you can continue to do if however your son grows up to be, whatever relationship you have with him through the grandmother. That's an idea, and that's something you can think about. And remember the letters thing, because Jules, that is an excellent idea. You can get a chance to write down all these memories, not only for your sake, but for the sake of your son, maybe that one day is going to read them.
Yeah.
And it's this treasure trove that you're going to have to present to him one day, possibly. And if not, you've still got him to go through and remember those things.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to get out this flare of rage that you might get in these times with these letters. Think of a positive memory you have with your son, or something you would like to take him to one day. Like, man, you would not believe the things I saw when I would drive around the country. I went on this trip, on vacation to this place, and I saw these things, and I think it'd be wonderful to see that one day. Maybe someday if you came to visit, I'd take you out there. That'd be great. So there's a really good restaurant over here. I had this. Yeah, it's mundane stuff, but man, it gives you a chance to explore possibilities that you could have. And a little bit of daydreaming never hurt anybody. It's good, and a good bit of inspiration, and it would probably put you in a better mood to think of the positive aspects of one day sharing that. Like, man, I don't have any kids yet, but man, I can't wait if I ever do have them to have them and share things with them and talk to them. And that's one thing that you can't do directly right now, but you can put that pen to paper and you can write it out, and you can plan it out and just have it going here for the day if and when he comes knocking or starts asking about you or sends you an email. Like, you've got that there, and you've got all this positive reinforcement going to off balance the negative emotion you're having at the situation and your ex-wife.
Yeah.
So just do your best to wipe away the anger with the confidence that you, like I said, she has no power over you, no real power, just financial.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got to do. Write those letters. She's just a cash register.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's like boiling it down to that show for me today.
I hope someday that your son comes around and wants to talk to you. And I hope someday that you'll be able to say to him, these are all the things that I wish I could have shared with you when you were growing up. And the experiences that I wish I could have had with you, or to tell you when I was a kid about the things that I enjoyed when I was 11 years old. So yeah, I hope that someday that happens for you. But if it doesn't, then you just need to make sure you're taking care of yourself. And it sounds like you are by sending this letter.
Yeah. Well, you've got a wife and a stepchild too. So, you do get to have a chance with your family that you have now. And I know it's a sore spot, but that, like you said in the letter, that has helped keep the dark places away, kept your thoughts away from those dark things. And so make sure you lean on to your family, to your wife and your stepchild, as a good source of support and positivity and great experiences, and getting to influence someone growing up, because that's, you may not have your son, but you have another child there to help grow and nurture. So
Absolutely.
redirect your energy.
I wish you luck. I hope it goes really well. I hope that someday that you'll have the opportunity to have a relationship with your son. Maybe it's not now, maybe it's not for a while, but I hope it comes. So
I do too. I wish the best of things for you and your family.
Absolutely.
That's just boils my blood when people use kids as weapons.
I agree. So we would, of course, we always appreciate your feedback to the show. You can send that to questions@taurenThinkTank.com. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, we need your letters. We are letter free after this one, so feel free to send your thoughts, discussion topics, something that you've been chewing on for a while and you can't quite figure out, need an outside perspective. That's what we're here for. Again, questions@taurenThinkTank.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And with that, Mark Honan, it's that time when I say, we have a show. We made a show.
I spent a lot of time in front of my keyboard this week. The days flew by. I realized yesterday that I only had 3 work days this week because I spent so much time in Azeroth. And as I did, I would take moments out of my day to watch programs on Netflix, YouTube, and other places. These things were periodic of length. They were very short, but not quite too long. They had people talking. They had music. They had laughs. They had serious things. I would akin them to what we just completed in the last hour or so. And those things, according to studies, would be considered shows. So by extension, so would this.
I don't ever know where you're going. I know you're going to end up there.
I
just never know.
Just getting more and more complex. I did not know where I was going to end when I started. So thank you, brain, for working a little longer.
I mean, you set off on the path, and I know where the path is ending. But to loop back to the path, you might have taken a couple like detours to different countries.
A couple wrong turns at Albuquerque.
So you'll be back in Azeroth again this weekend, I assume?
I will be probably here in a couple of minutes because those world quests are not going to do themselves.
They're calling you.
They are. Like my hand is slowly moving towards the mouse to hit the launcher, but I need stop it.
We got 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes. We can get through it.
I can stop anytime I can stop anytime I want. I just don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. Yeah, a lot of Battle for Azeroth coming up in the next week. Yeah, good stuff going at work. I was getting kind of cabin fever and actually felt kind of down this morning when I first got to work. I was just kind of in a funk and felt kind of sad. But then when I started going out to the jobs and helping people out and building stuff, and it reminded me of why I like to do what I do. And then I saw my paycheck tomorrow, and then I was like, yeah, I really do like what I do. Yeah, so I will enjoy that. And getting paid's good. It feels good. I like having money in the bank account, so that will feel very nice tomorrow. But yeah, not a whole lot going on the next week other than that. Pixie seems to be on the mend a little bit. I have been giving her medicine twice a day, and I've been kind of just checking to see if she's gaining any weight. I kind of think she is. Still acts normal, so I've got another checkup in I think 2 weeks, or a week from Monday. Yeah, on the 27th is when I'm going back in to have her checked out. But so far so good. She seems fine. So fingers crossed on that. Just keeping her medicine going. She loves the wet cat food that I mix the food in. Like, I never give the cats wet food. It's a treat. So she just destroys it when I mix the medicine in with it. So
easy peasy, man.
Oh yeah. They were like, yeah, just put 2 spoons together and crush it, mix it in with wet cat food. I'm like, this is genius. I'm glad I can do that, because I really didn't want to like throw throw the pill down my cat's throat. or get the pill poppers. I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that.
That's terrible. And some medicines taste so bitter you can't mix into food, so you lucked out.
I did, but lots of gravy in the wet cat food. So
yeah,
it by the time she tastes something weird, she's already eaten it. So that's good.
Awesome. Anything else?
That's gosh, not that I can think of.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. It's been a long day, so I can't really remember there's anything going on. Eventually I'm gonna join Ben and John again on Azeroth Roundtable. We tried to get it working last month or earlier this month, but I had my anniversary and the weekends didn't line up. So I may shoot him a message and see if he wants me to come on in a couple weeks, because it's always good talking to those guys.
Of course, I miss them.
Yeah, me too. But in like less than 3 months we get to see them again. So
excited.
It'll be awesome. So what's going on in your world for the next week?
It'll just be me doing more. So this Eastern Clash starts tonight, and we watching that, and you'll be seeing me on Esports Daily.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'll be on Convert to Raid, Battle.net News, and I'll of course have Heroes News with Joel Scott. So there's lots of podcast content being made right now. And and so I'm kicking some other ideas around, other craft ideas, kind of just, thinking of some new stuff possibly. And, I mean, I don't know. It's just, and I've been looking for jobs and applying to jobs and to see what I can find. So there we go. But I think with that, we'll bring this show to a close like we always do, just like this. Tauren Think Tank is supported by you, our listeners. Thank you to each and every one of you who supports us every month on Patreon. We're going to have another patron game night coming up soon, too.
Yes.
But if you would like to help out Triple T, help the show, help our production costs, just help us, it would be great. And you can do that at patreon.com/TaurenThinkTank.
And also, portions of the music and sound effects heard on this show can be found at incompetech.com and freesound.org. You can also find us outside of the show on our website. Where's that, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you right now. It's at taurenThinkTank.com. And what can you find there? Well, you can get a link to all of our podcasts and information on how to get in touch with us, and taurenThinkTank.com/store for cool merch, too.
That's true. If you want to meet other members of the Triple T community and bond with your Moo crew, you can join our Discord server. The quick way to get there, tinyurl.com/TTTchat2.
That is such a quick way. You're already there. The moment you start typing, you're there. You know where else you can type and get to? You can go to facebook.com/TaurenThinkTank and get us there on Facebook. And of course, you can find us on the Twitter. You can find the show at Tauren Think Tank. You can find Jules at Jules RPG, and you can find me, Mark Conan, at Mark Conan Wow.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, chat room, for being with us tonight. Hang out every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Central. You can find our video stream, be a part of the live chat room as we record the show at twitch.tv/TaurenThinkTank. And we love seeing you here. We love hearing your feedback. We love seeing you on Twitter. We love seeing you on Discord. However you want to come with us, we enjoy it.
Yes, yes.
Mark Conan.
Jules.
Have fun storming the castle.
Oh, I always do, especially on the new expansion week. And you have fun doing all your podcasts. And you have fun storming the podcasts.
I'll have fun storming the podcast. We'll be back next weekend, next Thursday. And you guys will be along for the ride. Send us letters. We want letters.
Yes.
I'll see you next week, Mark Conan.
See you next week, Jules. Have a good week.
Me too. For myself, for Mark Conan, for the entire chat room. Until next time. /moo, everybody.
/moo.
Tauren Think Tank. We make your problems less bad.
Your mom says Granny's birthday Saturday and birthday dinner Sunday.
Yep. I got the text a couple days ago. She's just sending me another reminder. I've got to pick up something for tomorrow after work. And yep. So I'll be heading over there for this Sunday dinner. I'm gonna see my granny.
Sunday dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get home cooked meals a lot anymore, and I miss them unless I cook them myself. And it's kind of hard to do a big old home cooked meal for one. So
yeah. Yeah, I bet you there's like some kind of like down home cooking place somewhere over in the Twin Cities.
Oh, I'm sure. Like I could
Yeah, there's
probably
gotta
find
be.
a place that's just like, grandma's kitchen or something that
Yeah,
just does the whole like Sunday dinner meatloaf, mashed
Yeah.
potatoes kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Chicken and dumplings or whatever.
yeah.
Oh man.
I like dragging your butt as the show
Yeah.
title. Do you like that one?
Yeah, I like that one, the dragging your butt.
That I heard the same darn thing that they said in the chat room, and I was like, that sounds like you just said dragging your butt.
Yeah. I I heard it too, and I was like, uh-oh. There he goes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so thank you, Draven, for being distracted and still giving us show titles.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Oh, man. Did you get your fan back on?
Oh yeah.
Put your fan back on.
Woo.
You're like, oh.
Moving air.
Moving
How
air.
are the tummy rubs, Wicked Kitten, for the cat?
Tummy rubs.
Reese was very lovey around me the last few days because I had the door open and I just let the girls come in and out as they pleased. And Reese was just on the floor to my left. And then she was in my lap, and then she was on the desk, and then back on the floor. She was constantly just kind of rolled around with her eyes closed, and I just kind of look at her, and I guess she would feel me looking at her. She just open one eye, and then she'd open one other eye and just look at me with that inquisitive look. And I was just like, oh goodness, you're slowing my leveling, but you're too darn cute.
You're too darn cute. The other day, I think it was Monday, I had to go out to the store for a couple things. And I come home, and I got a business call as I was coming home, coming in the door. And Garrus has this thing is like, because I'm here all the time, when I leave, he's like so excited that I'm home. And I could be gone for like half an hour, but as soon as I am home, he's just so excited that I'm here. So I had to the business call required me to go and look something up on my email. So I sit down at my desk, and he is literally he does his thing where he jumps on me and he wants to cuddle and love me all much. And the cat butt is in my face as I'm trying to talk to this person. And I keep hearing the tail smack my phone. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. My cat is just like in my face right now. And they just start laughing. I'm like, yep, that's the choice when you work from home. This is what happens.
Yeah. Mom, look at my butt.
Oh man, I was on I did a coaching session this morning, and he did that thing where he crawls across my chest and wants to sit, and he just like the butt goes right here, and it's just like right in my face, and I'm just like, this is not what I wanted. And of course I'm on camera as the coaching customer is just laughing. This whole thing, like, I know this is the hazards of the job.
Uh-huh.
This is the hazards of being at home.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's funny.
I put out, if you guys haven't seen my Twitter, he fell asleep in my arms earlier. I'd gone out for a walk and came home, and he did the thing where he needed to be in my arms again. So he jumped up and he flipped on his back and just went to sleep in my arms. So he just crashed out on my chest. Such a cutie. He's such a cutie. I love him.
Yeah, out cold.
Yeah, he is out cold.
I can see his little teeth
His
sticking
little
on the
teeth
side.
poking out. Yep.
His little canine sticking out. That's relaxed.
Yeah, he's out. He has been, ever since Spike died, he has been stripping himself from hair. Like he gives himself bald spots in certain areas, and they move. But both of his paws underneath the arms, like right here, are just like, they're just stripped of hair. And so he's got random bald spots around him. It's very strange, but other than that, he's kind of okay. So he just grooms himself bald, but he doesn't groom himself to bleed anymore. At least
that's good.
He was doing that right after Spike died. Like the day that Spike died, he was doing that. But now he's better with that. He's still just stripping his hair off. It's like, poor thing. I've got the diffuser, like the feel away, a calming diffuser going on in the house, and it seems to slow it down a little bit. But he's a poor baby.
Poor dude.
I would love to have a new job because I have kitten fever so bad and I want a kitten. Like, I want a kitten. But, you know, I need to have a little money to have a kitten. So, because they are not cheap.
Little bit.
They are not cheap. So, all right, we're going to get you back in Azeroth. We'll get you all back in Azeroth, fam, Moo crew. Thank you for being with us tonight. It's good to see you guys. And, we'll see you guys next Thursday. I have a trip to go see my parents in mid-September. So we may either skip the show or just do it on a Wednesday. I don't know. We'll have to see what schedules look like. So
okay.
But.
And for the gaming for Patreon, we have 2 more Wednesdays left.
Yes. So it'll be not this coming one, but the following one is when we'll do it.
The 29th.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yes. So, all right. Good night, everybody. /Moo.
/Moo guys, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.